Chapter 53, Exploded. It exploded. 1. A teacher with horns on his head. It was a single horn. It was greenish-gray in color and had a mysterious spiral pattern. It was about 10 centimeters tall. It looked exceptionally glaring without the fisherman's hat. The new students were shocked once again. They all stared at the teacher with the horn on his head. Today, the students felt as though they were being massaged non-stop by a massager that had been turned on. Zutui was also very shocked. His first reaction was that he was a modified human. Why would there be modified humans in the Wuxia Genetic Evolution College? However, Zutui immediately realized something. There would not be modified humans in the Wuxia Genetic Evolution College. The genetic committee's definition of modified humans was that the humans who were undergoing artificial intervention had a cross-species modification with other species. The teacher with the horn on his head should not be a modified human. Instead, it might be a strange transformation. Good morning, students. My surname is Wen, and my full name is Wen Xiao. I am a professor from the Wuxia Genetic Evolution College and the vice teacher of the superb type of the mystery branch. If there are no accidents, in the next few years, I will be teaching and guiding you on the 3 subjects in your mystery branch public lessons: cultivation of the mind, practical uses of the mystery branch, and application of actual combat of the mystery branch. Mr. Wen, who had a horn on his head, spoke a little slower. Coupled with his round face and gentle smile, the horn on his head seemed to become less offensive and glaring. Let me start with 2 points. First, all of my public lessons are large scale. I hope that all of you will listen attentively when I am giving my lesson. Do not cause a ruckus, lest you affect the other students. Secondly, these 3 public lessons are very important to you. I hope that you will not be absent. If you are absent for any special reasons, you can view the lessons recording or ask for help. Of course, some things in the mystery branch are very mysterious. It is not something that can be completely replicated with high-tech technology. Please remember the above 2 points, students. Then, let us begin with the first question. It is actually the start of today's public lecture, the cultivation of mind. As he laughed, the rotund Mr. Wen Xiao rubbed his green and white horn with his hand. What do the students think about the horn on my head? Students, please make a wild guess. I won't be angry if you are wrong. Teacher, is it a unique bone growth technique? Teacher, is it because of the mind power? Teacher, is it a reversion of ancestors? I would believe you if you said that your ancestor had grown a tail and you had a reversion. But what do you think the evolution of horns came from then? Amidst the lively replies, some students started to pick at each other. The rotund Mr. Wen Xiao touched the horn on his head again. The entire classroom became silent again. Zutui realized that Mr. Wen was rather impressive. He managed to control the entire class just by revealing his horn. Some of you are right, it's because of your mind power. Wen Xiao explained, I accidentally activated an unknown genetic base point because I used too much of my mind power during my training. That resulted in the appearance of a unique silent genetic response. To me, the side effect is that I have a horn. It's not convenient. Of course, the advantage was that my mind power was a little stronger. If you want to have horns like me, you have to train your mind power well, Wen Xiao said. The expressions of the 800 odd new students from the mystery branch immediately changed when they heard him. The faces of the girls turned pale. They all cried out in shock. They had no problems cultivating mind power, but none of the female students were willing to have horns on their heads. Zutui saw Gong Ling from far away. She was also shaking her head vigorously and saying that she did not want it. Her body swayed along with her head. As expected of, Zutui silently added, It looks like the students don't like having horns. Wen Xiao lowered his hand from the horn on his head and suddenly had a stern expression. Since you are not willing to grow a horn, you should pay attention in class. Training one's mind power was extremely rigorous. Anyone who did not pay attention in their studies would grow a horn or even something strange. For example, grow a mushroom on your face. Don't blame me for not reminding you. Instantly, several girls covered their mouths and screamed. They could no longer tolerate having a horn on their heads. They would rather die than have mushrooms growing on their faces. Instantly, the classroom became silent. Zutui also became quiet and focused. He was so handsome, he could not tolerate having a horn on his head and mushrooms on his face. Hand out the training items. After he was done with the foreplay, Mr. Wen let out a soft grunt and instructed his assistant teacher. He then put on his fisherman's hat again. The gentle and rotund Mr. Wen suddenly had a sinister aura after he put on the fisherman's hat. It made people feel that it was better for him to not wear the fisherman's hat. The assistant teacher instructed a few dozen students to distribute the so-called training equipment. It was a glass jar. It was about the size of a can of Coke and was transparent and tightly sealed. There was an intricate dial under the tightly sealed bottle cap. A 6 to 7 centimeter long line was dangling from the dial, and a small silver card was dangling at the end of the line. The card was about half the size of a fingernail and 1 centimeter square. Zutui's gaze changed when he saw the silver card. This silver color seemed to be similar to the silver pills that Zhao Saxui was using. However, the color and overall feel were a little different. Soon, Zutui also got one.